morning everyone present here. My name is Aparna of class 9B of Saraswathi Vidyanikethan School, here to present before you a small speech based on waste management. First of all, I would like to thank Rekha ma'am for giving me this opportunity. So, what do you mean by waste management? First of all, I'll just ask you what is waste. As we have all learned that waste is nothing but the discarded and eliminated things which is used after a stage. It is something worthless. So when I ask you, what is waste management? You all be like, it is just the management of waste. But no, it is not that easy. Waste management is collecting, recycling, processing, and monitoring the use of waste. As we as young generation today should be aware and cautious about this topic, as this is finally going to affect us. As we all know, during our old generations, that our great grandparents' time, they used to dig the waste beneath the hole by digging it beneath the surface, and then they used to use it as fertilizer. Now you all will be like, ew, why would they do that? Because they thought that this was best for the soil, as these waste would decompose and act as a fertilizer of some sort. But this method is not at all proper in today's generation. During olden days, the population was less, and since the creation was also less. But today, in this generation, the population has increased with new technologies, and this option is not at all feasible. So, this waste management is usually undertaken by the municipal corporation, that is the local government authorities. So, it is our duty that we should find cautious reasons, precautions to see like how can we do something or the other to give this another step. So, as today's increasing population, growing demand of people and comfy living, a lot of waste is generated during these processes. And these waste are just dumped into the surroundings. So, waste management is usually different in the rural and urban areas. In rural areas, they have a lot of space to just dump it into the surroundings. And in urban areas, they have further technologies, that is the waste management is mainly done in the urban areas because of the new technologies that is coming up. But as in the rural areas, they just dump the waste into certain surroundings, they just burn it off, which is not at all feasible today nowadays. As they just burn it off, all the poisonous gases just come and we just smell it, which is quite poisonous, and it is fatal to our health as well as the environment. It is our duty that we find implications and precautions so that we can reduce this effect. So, nowadays waste management is really a big problem because waste is not an easy thing. It is not an easy thing because it is really a big problem nowadays. They just throw the waste in particular areas to just see and littering the grounds. As our Prime Minister has implicated the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, that is just improving the waste areas, improving and collecting and reusing the waste. As we all have learned, the three R's, that is the reuse, reduce and recycle. This tells us reuse waste as much as possible, reduce it and recycle it as much as possible, because we know that recycling saves energy as well as the time. So, when I talk about waste, all we like, it's just the disgusting thing and it's not worthless. It's not at all worthless at all. So, when I tell that waste in some precautions is also important, some waste can be recycled in a better way and can be used for the environment. Waste is not a silly thing, as I've always told. It is not a silly thing. It is a big problem nowadays. Waste management is undertaken to reduce the effect of these implications and activities nowadays. So, waste management is nothing but just managing the waste in a form and in an order to make a better environment nowadays. So, when I talk about this management, nowadays it is really a big growth nowadays. And because of this waste management, our country is getting into a better step nowadays. So, this waste management is taken up by the municipal corporation as well, as I told you. But it doesn't mean that only they have to implicate and do this. It is our duty that we put our maximum effort in order to find and to see how this waste management can be improved. We should stop using unnecessary things and just throwing it in particular areas. We should maximum try to recycle these waste, and we should not throw these waste in particular areas, as this is quite fatal to the environment as well as our health. It is really a big problem nowadays. So it is our duty that we see the maximum implications that we can take to reduce the use of waste, because we cannot risk with our health and the environment. So this waste management, I would just tell all of you to please reduce the use of waste, try to recycle it, reuse as much as possible. I would conclude my point telling that waste is not a silly thing. As you all know, it is not a silly thing, guys. It's actually a big problem nowadays, and it's facing the environment severely. And it is our duty that we find implications and we find problems, we find implications, like however we try to come up with it. So I would thank all of you for giving me this presence, attention, and giving me more confidence in telling you about waste management. And guys, always remember, waste is not a silly thing. And one more thing, if you change this certain thing, it is going to implement for our nation as well as the environment, because waste is a big problem nowadays. Thank you.